Edwin Sifuna, welcome to Capital FM.
Thank you so much. It's very nice to meet you, Farid. I listen to you, but I've never met you.
Right.
I was just saying on Twitter that it's my first time in 5 years. Last time I was here, I was with a very nice lady called Renee Ngamau.
And
Makbul.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how far back it is. And I've been SG of ODM for 5 years now.
Right.
I have done a lot of radio. So it's a bit upsetting that I don't get to do as much Capital as
and it's a shame. You've got a great voice as well. You should be
Absolutely.
on radio.
Thank you so much. I try.
Was there ever a media career in your sights?
No. I don't think I would hack it.
Right.
You have to generate content every morning. I don't know how you guys come up with it, and I don't think I could do that.
Hey, politicians generate content every morning.
Not as much as you do, and you have to wake up very early in the morning. I don't know what time you wake up. You have a free pass. You always come late.
Wow.
Yeah, you're always late. You're always missing.
By 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's always it's like hours, man. It's always Davina alone here telling us that you can't make it today, but it's fine. I love Capital. I have a few issues with the changes that happened in a few years.
Right.
I was really angry that you got rid of the DJs in the morning. That's what used to get us up.
Yeah.
We used to have lovely DJs, the guest DJs on Thursdays, and then of course the Friday flight.
But we still have the Friday flight.
Yeah, but it's not
all week long.
Yeah, not all week long. So that is something that we have to now scroll our tuners to find DJs on our station.
No, we can't. They must stay
nice.
here.
Yeah.
With great guests come great conversations, and we're going to have a great conversation this morning.
Absolutely.
But before we get into the nitty-gritties of what's happening, what you're doing, what the plans are, 20 some odd days left now. It's a very tight race everywhere.
Yeah.
Can we just touch on what happened over the weekend? It did appear that there was going to be a WWE style confrontation between you and Robert Alai on the campaign trail. What happened?
No, I don't think that it is as bad as people want to make it look like. Actually, it was just a safety issue. That was my vehicle. And as you know, cars have a capacity. They have a carrying capacity. There's only so many people you can have on your hood.
And Robert Alai is not a light guy.
He's not a light guy, man. And if I show you my windshield now, it's shattered. I have a 1999 Mitsubishi Pajero that I use for the campaigns.
Right.
I took it to the shop to have a roof rack installed. So if you're going to come on my car, please come to the top. But there was all sorts of people all over the hood, and you know that there's only so much weight it can take.
Right.
So I tried to tell them that it was a safety issue. Actually, my windshield was shattered because of all the weight that was on the car.
Okay.
So I have to take it into the shop today, and I was trying to tell him to get off because we were just too many people on the vehicle, but he didn't want to listen, so I had to ease him off, if you will.
But you guys are friends.
We are friends. We are in the same party. I wish him well. He's running for Kileleshwa MCA. I hope that he wins it because we need numbers. Yeah, we need numbers in the house. Really, there's nothing to it other than that.
Right.
Yeah.
And now, this being your third time running for public office, what's different this time?
Actually, it is only my second time. The first time
that
I ran was in 2017. What's different this time around? I feel like people, especially people of Nairobi, the people of Kenya, have gotten an opportunity to see me actually in office. As I told you, I've been the SG of ODM for 5 years. It's not an easy job. It is the largest party in this country. There's a lot of pressure on the people who hold office in ODM because people love this party and they are very invested emotionally in this party. So there's a lot of pressure for us to be able to deliver. It has been a very difficult 4 years, 5 odd years. So I am hoping that this time round, the people of Nairobi have gotten an opportunity to see that I can actually manage an organization as large as ODM. I've been able to manage the politics of the party as well. People still tell us that as of today, ODM is still the most organized political party. It is largely due to the effort of political leaders in the party like myself. And we take pride in what we have done. And God willing, in 21 or so days, I'm going to be the first Secretary General of ODM to actually now get our presidential candidate and the party into government.
What goes into that? That must be that's an insane job when you think about it.
It's
because
crazy.
You're dealing with every member of the party, from Baba all the way down.
Yeah.
So what is a daily? What do you do?
Oh, it's been very difficult. We have a mandate to be able to grow the party, to ensure that it has structures up to the grassroots. I am very proud of what we have done the past 4 years. When I got in there, the party didn't have a single county office. You know, you're required to have offices in at least half of the counties for you to be, a registered political party. And when I got in there, we were depending largely on the benevolence of some of these, leaders at the grassroots. But now, Farid, I'm proud to say that as ODM, we have offices in 43 counties that we pay for from, my office at the party headquarters.
Right.
We have tried to grow the party. We have tried to rejig the party to be able to grow the confidence of members in the party. We have had a very difficult 4 years. We have had a lot of by-elections. One of the lowest points was, the by-election in Ugenya when the party lost, and, that is a party stronghold. It was a painful loss to take. We lost a few members. We lost the member of Kibra, remember my friend Ken Okoth. And then we lost our member of parliament from Sambweni. We had so many by-elections. There was just a point that I was just praying that, please, let nobody else die. Let's just complete this term, because those by-elections come with a lot of stress. But I am proud that win or lose the by-elections, there's one constant factor, and it was me leading the troops of a party in those by-elections. Some of them were pretty much war. You talk about WWE from what you saw on over the weekend. You haven't seen anything yet. If you remember the by-elections in Matungu in Kakamega, that was crazy war, bro. That was a proper brawl, There was all these gangs of our opponents, with very crude weapons, deflating tires so you couldn't move. People were beaten up. There were polling stations that were invaded, polling agents and the party, the IEBC officials beaten up. It was crazy. So I have, some pride looking back in the 5 years in the work that we have done, that indeed we have prepared the party well for this election, and we hope that we will grow our numbers even in parliament.
But you don't clock off from work ever, right? I mean, it's not a 9-to-5 job. And for you, when you mentioned something, you said that when you lose a by-election, for you, it must affect you, and you must be having to always think, how do we
actually what is most interesting about elections is and politics is that when you lose elections, it is SG's head that is everybody is calling for. I remember this book by Kofi Annan when he said when he was SG, he often felt that SG stood for scapegoat. So that every time anything goes wrong...
So it's blame Sifuna.
Yes, let's hang Sifuna. It's guys with pitchforks out there. I remember after Ugenya, the blame was on me. After we won Kibra, nobody says anything. After we won Bonchari, they say, it's a small seat and really we don't need to celebrate for too long. Let's move on. There's other things to do.
It's that situation where you never get patted on the back when you're doing your job.
Absolutely.
But you get hung when you're not doing your job. In the United States or in the UK, so let's take the United States, for example. If you're a Republican, it's usually generational, right? Or Democrat, it's generational. Yeah. In the UK, you're Tory, you're Labour, whatever, it's usually generational. Yeah. Here, we seem to be saying, actually, I'm going to move to this party. Yeah. I mean, how does that even work? If I am a proud supporter of ODM or Azimio, for example, or if I'm a proud supporter of UDA, whatever the case may be, I've bought into the manifesto, I've bought into the ideology. Yeah. How can I wake up in the morning and say, I want to move to this party?
You talk about the US. It is generational, but also it is issue-based. So you could tell if somebody is a Republican or a Democrat by just asking them 5 questions. Sure. Where they stand on, say, taxing the rich, their position on abortion, the right to choose. You could ask 5 questions and you would tell this is a Republican, this is a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat. The size of government, how big do they think the federal government should be, which issues should be left to the states, and so on and so forth. Unfortunately for us in this country, we have not gotten to a place where you could decide based on the issues that are being advanced that you belong to ODM or you belong to any other political party. And this is something we're trying to encourage, especially the younger generation of people, that you should be able to make a decision on who you support based on what it is that they stand for and what it is they're proposing. The history of a politician is important because, Farid, sometimes they say we politicians are all the same, but I always argue that we are not the same. Human beings are not the same. Your socialization, you've lived in the States, you've lived in the UK. Those experiences that you've gathered around the world make you unique as Farid. There's no other Farid Kimani. It's just you, So even politicians, if you look at somebody's history, and this is why we are saying that even though there's all sorts of promises flying around, the promise is as good as the person making the promise. If I have a history of lying to you, if I have a history of breaking promises, what moral standing do I have to make?
What makes this time
different?
Absolutely.
So that is the distinction. if you were in the 90s, it was not easy, Farid. You guys were one of the first private radio stations. But if you remember the history of broadcast in this country, it was not always possible for us to have this conversation that we're having.
No, not even in the 90s, until Kibaki became president.
Absolutely, that's what I'm telling you. So there are people who are fighting for us to be able to do this, and there are people who are fighting for us not to be able to do this, and that is their history. Right. As they say in Game of Thrones, your history is written, the ink is already dry. You can't change who you are.
Right.
So look at the people. What were you doing in the 90s when people were fighting for greater freedoms in this country? Were you a DO somewhere, chasing down guys in Changadens, handing them over to the Moi regime for them to be detained without trial? That's who you are. If you were running some ragtag youth wing of a, political party, then subverting the will of the people, that is who you are. If you were there fighting for democracy and trying to expand the space for us to have greater freedoms, that is who you are. So if you look at the leading political formations right now, it is an assembly of the people whose histories are known. So if you look at the people in Azimio, from Right Honorable Raila Odinga to Martha Karua, you can always look back to their history. And then you understand that these people, if given an opportunity, they are less likely to come and raid your radio station here tomorrow.
Take Farid off air.
Take Farid off air. Like, these guys just become too much.
It's been close a few times.
Yeah.
If you look at the opinion polls, they seem to be ranking you as with a lead as for Nairobi senatorial race. Has it been smooth sailing the whole way? Were you comfortable from the beginning?
I don't think I pay too much attention to those opinion polls because, pollsters have been wrong before. You remember in 2016 with Hillary. She was projected to win.
Absolutely.
I remember we were invited to the U.S. Embassy. Essentially, the mood was that she was going to win and everybody was waiting to throw this big party. And then, Florida happened. And I remember that specific moment when Florida was announced and I could see the souls of people leaving their bodies. So I don't pay too much attention to the opinion polls. I try as much as possible to be able to reach as many people in Nairobi as possible to just show them that, in fact, I am the best option for the Senate seat. And Farid, when you hear people discuss, how leadership has suffered in the past few years, how we have departed from what the Constitution intended, they talk about, not caring about Chapter 6 anymore. You ask yourself, what is this Chapter 6? There are guidelines that have been given in Chapter 6, Article 73 of the Constitution about what a leader should be. And there are only three. You should elect somebody with personal integrity, somebody competent to do the job, and somebody suitable to do the job. You can be competent and suitable, but if you don't have that personal integrity, you're knocked off. So if you look at the people that we have elected in the past and why we have suffered, it is because we have forgotten those three criteria. And I have put myself out there asking the people of Nairobi that if you were to ask yourself, is Sifuna competent to be a senator? Is he suitable to be a senator? You can be also competent but not suitable. You are very suitable for this job, Farid. I don't want to go into competence.
Right. No. Yeah. Some will say I'm not competent, but I'm suitable. And
very suitable.
Zero integrity.
So you get the point that I'm making.
I do.
So this is a conversation we're having. I am hoping that, at the end of the day, Nairobians will make the choice. I feel that I can do this job better than anybody else who's running. And I have presented myself and projected myself as not running against any individual. I am just actually running against the problems of the people of Nairobi. That, in fact, if you can come up with the solutions to the issues, people want a clean environment. People want their garbage collected on time and
water
regularly.
Running. Yeah.
They want water running. I was telling some people that, in fact, there used to be a time in this city where it was normal for water to flow out of a tap.
Yeah.
These days it is the exception rather than the rule.
Absolutely. And it doesn't matter which neighborhood you're in,
absolutely,
by the way.
everywhere.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to talk about the previous senator of Nairobi.